This is used by mechanics and firefighters to actually help people. So this is why I wanted this particular camera. So you guys can all see me in there, right? I'm orange, red, and yellow. I'm so sorry, we didn't talk COVID stuff. So I see some people with masks, some people without. So it's completely up to you with masks. There's no more citations. I'm not COVID fearful, but I understand some people are. If I have to get close to you, I will put my mask on. More populated areas, I will put my mask on. Just because of that, respect factor to other people. All of your devices that we're using tonight have been disinfected, and I do have hand sanitizer in case anybody needs it. So we all good on the COVID front? You guys are on vacation. You don't want to talk about COVID. So, all right, back to thermal imaging. So I'm orange, red, and yellow, right? So everything around me should be blue and black. So what are we looking for here? Things that are moving around me that are blue and black. Those are the colder areas of whatever's inside the camera. So if you take me out of it, which will happen from time to time, the orange, red, and yellow is going to go somewhere else that's not my hand. I'm trying to move it. So you guys can kind of see how it fluctuates, right? I'm giving you all the basics of this because you're going to get this full video back tomorrow morning. So again, I go through some of our hotspots and kind of see where we are with things. So you haven't really said much, which is almost great for a camera person because it records audio too. So you're going to keep that kind of horizontal for me all night. See the red square on the screen? That means that it's recording. So in the event that it turns to a circle, just let me know. I just have to splice the video together. That way you guys have one shot instead of multiples. So just let me know. Look at her, she still hasn't said anything. Hang on. Try to back up. Let's go into spirit boxes. So spirit boxes, we're going to use 3 different types tonight. 3 different types on purpose. Again, none of you are going to have the same device. So there's no multiples of, this, that. Here you go. You all get thermal imaging cameras. So spirit boxes are a way for us to communicate with the dead. Okay, so it's going to do it a couple of different ways. This is going to sweep through all of the FM radio stations at a very quick rate. If you watch the TV shows, it's that white noise that they give you. And then Zach Bagans tells you what fake thing he thinks he heard. Don't get me started on Zach, please. It'll be an all-night affair just on him. So mine is set up a little bit different. It's going to sweep through the stations, but I have it slowed down. First off, because you guys aren't used to listening to this. So I want the radio chatter to come through. I want this to be acting like Bumblebee from Transformers. Did you guys all see that movie? Some of you, yes? No? So sure. Basically what happens is Bumblebee used the radio to talk to us. So it was a song lyric, a DJ, a commercial, anything that we can make out of it. It's a 50-50 shot that I could probably tie it to the location of where we are, a person I'm speaking about, or something happening with one of us. So we just never know. Sometimes it's just specific direction. But again, the cool thing about this one in particular is that it records the entire session for us, even when it's on mute with no outside noise. So it's not going to hear the cars, it's not going to hear me talking. It's only going to record the radio sweep at a nice even level. So when you guys get your recording back tomorrow, even when I say go ahead and turn it down, it's okay because it's recording it for us. And I can just listen to it tomorrow morning and you guys can listen to it whenever. So I already have it set to record. I missed your name again. Gabby. I said the only name I've said so far, and I ruined it. I'm poor. All right, so you have one button. It's a wheel at the very top. It helps control the volume. So that goes to you. That's the only thing you need to worry about on that is the volume. Let's stick with spirit boxes for just a minute. So you guys are seeing a lot of phones being handed out, right? Wife works at Best Buy. Guess where I get them all from. Not to mention the stock load of batteries that I have to do.
The ghost tour?
You're on the wrong one because I have all my folks. You're probably looking for Bulldog. You want to go down 2 blocks and make a left.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Pay too much and you're going to be bored. Did I say that? I'm so sorry.
It's recorded too.
Twice, because my audio's going too. Alright, so the second spirit box, guys. So this one in particular is going to give us words in the center of the screen, and then it's going to save them to a list. Here's what I'm going to tell you about the list. 80% if it wants to load. Oh, I had it running on my desk today. It's going to take a minute. So 80% of the list is BS. Doesn't mean a damn thing. So again, it's the other 5 to 20% that I'm going to be able to link back to the location, history, or something going on with one of us. I'm going to clear out last night's tour because they already have their list. It's start us off fresh. It does say the word fit. You were talking about yoga earlier. It goes to you. So
Wait, so does it just come up with
it
words?
will randomly come up with words. There are 9,111 words in its vocabulary. So it's going to try to pick words out of midair and spit them back to us. The theory behind this, on the 5 to 20% that's relevant, is that we actually have somebody controlling the words coming through. That's the gist of it.
Gotcha.
Last but not least, spirit box. So we're gonna go with the two of you on this one. So this one does not record. It does the exact same thing that Gabby's does, only it doesn't record. So we kind of have to rely on the two of you to be able to tell us. The reason why I put two people on this so they can verify each other. I'm not going to take Jokester's word for it that he heard something come out of it. I need both of them to give me something.
You should not have teamed y'all up together.
What's that?
You should not have teamed them up together. They're going to fight for the next hour and a half about what they heard.
It's going to be fun. That's what we're going with. All right, so there's
I was holding out for the big goop gun.
I don't have a goop gun, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
you don't have a
I
goop
lost
gun.
my ghost trap too. So there's a button on the side of the speaker. You hold it up for the volume to go up. This is the speaker, and then you just hold it down to turn the volume down. So if you have trouble, I'm always going to be around. So obviously when I'm talking and telling stories, we want to keep the spirit boxes down. So that way I'm not screaming and shouting at you guys.
So am I supposed to say the words when they come up?
Yeah, and at times I'll say, hey Michelle, tell us what words we have, and I'll kind of, show you how to get to that list. All right, so EMF meters, so these are pretty common with all of your TV shows. The reason why is because they're super sensitive. So they measure 3 different types of electromagnetic fields. The first one's natural, that's why it's not doing anything, it's just green. The next one is going to give us a rhythm or a pulse. It's going to go into, just, we can tap our foot to it, it's usually from something man-made. So with that being said, we don't want that either. We want this thing to go a little erratic. We want it to go nuts. So it's our first indication, and I'll watch it like, hey, it's going crazy. Well, let's watch it for 5 to 10 seconds and see if it's a rhythm. So we kind of want to go into that. So because you haven't said anything, this is going to force you to speak up when it goes nuts.
My arm is going to be very tired at the end of this. I mean,
I think I how to do this. All right, so this is the neuralizer from Men in Black. Sorry, I do a lot of movie references, so if you guys don't get my jokes, I'm sorry. It's gonna erase your memory, but the good thing is we're recording the entire thing, so whatever happens, happens. It's really a grid pen. So why do I use lasers? Lasers help us see things we can't see with the naked eye until something passes through it. Okay, so lasers, we need a very responsible person. Brad, was it?
Yes, sir.
You're going to be very responsible for me tonight. You're not going to put Nick in jail, because these will get Nick in jail. There are a lot of laser laws in Charleston. I will say when it's okay to use lasers. So, the second one we have, let me make sure I'm not going to blind myself. This is red grids. So why do we use red grids and green dots? Is because it's got squares. So in the event we capture something here, I can take the picture and or the video of where that piece was, put it in 3D software, and you guys have a full view with measurements of what we actually caught. How cool is that? Have I been able to do that yet? No, everything's usually distorted of the things that I catch in the sky. So, Brad, we don't want to cross the streams. It'll make you dizzy. Anybody get my Ghostbusters joke? Somebody did. I seen a couple of head nods. You get both of these so I know where the lasers are at all times.
Okay.
Let's see. You
Quick question. Operation. So it's just like a thumb switch?
toggle switch? Yep,
Okay.
on that one. And then the other one you have to hold the button. There's only one button. It's on the side of the thing. Just point it down. You got it. All right, so you're going to be helping him out. So
Okay.
with that being said, we need pictures because those things are going to move so fast, he's not going to be able to see them in real time. That's why we have pictures. So point one of those down for me, like down on the ground. You're literally going to be taking pictures through the lasers. I don't care how many pictures you take. If you give me 500, I'm going to go through all of them. So in the event we actually capture something, it's going to go super quick, and you need to be at the ready. So if you see something, you've already missed it. So it's literally a point. Yeah, taking pictures all night long. I know, I took your job. I'm sorry.
I would have been good at that job.
Do you think I
I
forgot
would have
about
been
you?
good at that job.
Me specifically?
Yeah.
No, not at all.
see a lot of head nodding coming out of you, like you know what some of this stuff is.
It's cartoons all the time.
Oh, so I got them hooked with the movie quotes.
Yes.
So somebody's jamming down there. All right, so last but not least, we have a multi-tool. So this is going to go to you. This has multiple pieces in it. So let me reset it. So the first thing it's going to do is it has an EMF builder built into it, just like Colleen's. Okay, so that's the top number. Sorry, can you get close? Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate you. So the top number, the big numbers, are the EMF. I get pretty excited at anything above 0.4, and I kind of look for patterns in that as well. The bottom is ambient temperature. I'm sorry, I lost your name already.
Tiffany?
Tiffany. Did Tiffany actually capture something?
Yes.
We have a yellow probe here to try to tell us where that cold spot actually is, so we can gauge the temperature as well. If it drops below 5 degrees, it will probably alert you. The top is a motion detector. You guys seen the lights go off a couple of times? In the event, it's going to measure anything that gets close to it that's not wind, basically. So if there is a break in the EMF field that's coming around the antenna, it's going to go off. The closer it gets, the higher it's going to go until it's actually touching it. Okay, so I have it set at a certain range, so that way in case something does pass by it, he's going to be alerted. It's super annoying on all the audio, and some places we're going to might be a little quieter than others, so I'll show you a little bit more about the operation of that. It's on the back, so we'll go into the detail. But try to keep the antenna down when we're not using that, but you are kind of the multitasker.
All right.
Everybody's got something or paired up with somebody, right? All right, so the place where we are is obviously haunted. That's why we start here. This place, anybody from here? Nobody's from here.
I mean, I live here.
Oh, you live
I don't know
here?
what you mean by from. I
Well,
didn't grow up here.
Live here.
But I've been here 11 years.
Okay. So I usually make the joke that, good, I can lie to everybody and nobody will know any different. But again, it's not like I'm not going to give you fact checks anymore. So, with that being said, this place used to be called Big John's. It was named after a football player from 1947 who played for the New York Giants. So he used to sit in the back of the bar and he would tell the bartender if the cadets coming over from the Citadel, if they were of age or not, to be able to have a few drinks. Well, he knew everybody. So one night, 2 guys come in, they're not of age. Big John tells the bartender, get these guys out of here. So they leave. They come back the next night and they try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. Obviously, John sees what's going on. They get into a little bar fight. John's on the ground, beating these guys up, and then a couple of shots go off. John gets hit in the neck with one of the bullets, and gets back up and goes back to the bar, tells the bartender to get him another beer, and go get the other 2 guys an ambulance. Now, I know, funny story, A, nobody died, so what's haunting the place? Anybody guess? The bullet hole is still here. So, it's allegedly still in the front of the building. I say allegedly because they're renovating the place right now. You can see the darkened windows. So it was there last time I checked. People that sit in the front of the bar, where all of this actually happened, tend to get a little queasy, nauseous, headaches. I bring this stuff up on purpose because I don't know how paranormal activity is going to affect anyone. So if anybody feels any of those slight symptoms, please let me know immediately. I don't say that as a scary thing because this isn't a scary tour. We're using scientific tools, for God's sake. But it is a big deal to me. We will move on pretty quick. Nobody wants to actually talk about their own health and have the... I'm going to get a headache from next door. So let's talk about something else happier. We had a big earthquake here in 1886. That's happier, right, than our own health. So the mantle that's above your heads actually wraps around the front of the building too, and a piece of that broke off from the front, struck somebody in the head, and allegedly that's the first death from our big earthquake of 1886. I say allegedly because it's just one of those rumor mills that goes through all the tour guides, and I needed another story so you didn't think you were going to get sick on my tour. So, are you guys ready to go ghost hunting?
Yes.
All right, we're going to go this way. Oh, you guys made my bag so much lighter. Love it. Love what I have up here.
I think he tells us when to use each of our instruments.
What did you say?
I think he tells us when to use each of our instruments. Like, I'm not going to watch this while I'm walking. Like, when we're in stock, he's going to tell us to look for things. Or listen to things.
Second, you know Jake Brenner is pretty close. Have a static running with a garage.
always try to debunk. One thing I won't do for you guys is lie. I'm not Zach Bagans, so I'm not going to make shit up. So I'll just put it right out there. I will always try to debunk things first, but we do have some craziness going on his EMF meter that he's not speaking up about. So it's a good thing it flashes.
Okay.
All right, so this is your novice level, lesson 1. So this is what I call the big red barn lot. This is where we keep the horses for your carriage rides. Okay, the horses are still inside, so absolutely no lasers can be on this building at all. You will spook those ponies, and if you were looking for that jump scare like from the other tours, that's the way to do it on this one. You get them ponies to kick, they're kicking metal. It's loud. So absolutely no lasers on the building, which is only you, which is good. So the only history I have here, and this is what makes this area so fun, is because I get to bounce around with all of you and teach you different tactics and more stuff about your tools. The only history here is that this is the same barn where they held horses that delivered milk to Charleston. So whenever I'm telling you a story like Big John, 1947, New York Giants, delivery of milk, these are all keywords of things for your spirit boxes. Most of you have a spirit box or sharing a spirit box of some kind. So that's a big deal. So let's talk about all those spirit boxes. What do you have on yours?
Japanese.
Japanese. They weren't Japanese milk cartons. So we're going to call that the 80% BS. So
You had the word delivery there.
did you have delivery?
Oh, it was a while. It just turned to bitter.
Well, it's not like we weren't close to it. So
Yeah, we
again,
were over there.
these folks know I'm coming. They know what time it is, and I'm here 6 nights a week. So don't be surprised if you guys see or hear my name tonight. It comes up often. So, but anyway, let's talk about those spirit boxes. This isn't TV. This isn't is somebody here? Because first off, if somebody says no, that means somebody's here. Okay, that's a definite. Like I'm keeping an eye on that. That thing's going great. So, but if real estate commercial comes through on the other 2 spirit boxes, and you guys hear the word houses, you think you heard yes because S and O are too common in our phonetic English language. Like it's just too common. So we're just going to stay away from yes and no questions altogether. We're going to go after the details. We want some of that stuff. So here, we're going to start off with something simple. We all can agree that the barn is red, correct?
Yes.
Anybody colorblind? I'm sorry, but I'm telling you it's red. I'm not lying to you. So we're going to ask something simple like, if somebody's here, tell me what color the barn is. So we are going to separate here shortly. In the event you, what was that? Oh, did you take a picture? That's right. Either that or you shut it off there. But at any rate, so in the event you don't get the color red specifically, it could be something that is specifically red. Heart, blood, fire truck, anything that's going to come through there that we honestly think of as red when it comes through those spirit boxes. Happens all the time. You could get a jersey number, and you didn't even ask the question, but somebody from Big John's team wants to talk to us. If we get 44 on one, and then another one says, come to my art class, the word art is a first name. Art Faircloth was number 44 on Big John's team. Do you see how I have to put all these clues together? That's what you got me here for, is to kind of lead the way. Oh, I heard pony, but I don't think it means anything. There's horses in this barn. So again, they may have had ponies in here at one point. Let's say you try 2 or 3, 4 tries about what color is the barn and you still don't get an answer, open it up a little bit. What's inside that barn? Now we have horses, anything related to horses. They're draft horses, that's their breed. I told you they delivered milk, but they also delivered eggs, which means it's calcium and protein. So these are all clues that I look for when I'm going through your guys' data that we should be listening for in real time. It's okay if you guys don't catch anything in real time. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to give you little stuff, and if it's a stretch, I'm going to tell you this is a stretch, but it could be tied in. So again, Spirit Box folks, you guys can kind of wander. I mean, we're not going to spend a lot of time here. This is literally just so you guys get used to your devices. Get used to asking open air questions. We're going to stay away from yes and no's. So the 2 of you are obviously going to stay teamed up. I do want to work with you specifically. So actually the 3 of you can kind of hang out with me for a few minutes if you'd like to. I'm going to, definitely show you more about the mel meter on that one. We want to get that thing cranked up a little bit so you can hear it. And obviously the 2 of you need to be working together. This is a safe space for lasers. Just keep them off of vehicles. They're strong enough to set off alarms. I don't like to run with 9 other people. It's never fun. So somebody's going down. I'm not stopping. So let's just keep them off of vehicles.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah.
So do we ask the questions out loud?
Yes.
Or, oh. So each of us do?
Yeah, so you guys are going to be kind of separated. That's why I say kind of like wander the lot, so that way you guys aren't interrupting. Like you guys don't have a noisemaker, but they do, and she does. So they should kind of stay relatively away from each other. You see how I split up the 3 spirit boxes among the 3 parties? So that way you guys weren't, it is kind of like we're going to stay within the confines of this lot. We're going to stay in the confines of this area. So that way we can spread out. You guys can get the gist. We'll always regroup at the end. This one is kind of like, all right, you guys good? Let's go learn some real history. That'll be the cue. Like, we're going to move on to the next spot. But normally, like our next spot, I'll say, let's group together and, Susan, tell me what you heard on your spirit box. What kind of temperatures did you guys get on yours? You know what I mean? You're kind of all over. We had some EMF, and I'm going to be following up with all of you guys. You're going to see me bouncing around all night. I'm going to tell a story. You guys investigate. We'll spend 10 to 15 minutes in each location, unless, of course, it's being super active, which hopefully they are, right? And then we're going to move on. Then I have a Legends and Lore, and then we'll keep investigating. So, spirit boxes, go ask some questions. Go have some fun with it. That's what you're here for. So, spirit boxes spread out. You 3 can stay with me. So,
I have a quick question on the story.
Yes.
So Big John got shot in the neck.
Yeah.
He didn't die.
Right.
The 2 guys think he died.
Right.
There was a bullet hole in the building.
Correct. His blood is on that bullet. Literally part of him. It's like
Through his neck.
yeah, it kind of like bounced off of him.
Okay.
It just grazed it basically. So his bloodline is on that building.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
Not
again, you're gonna hear weird ghost stories from me throughout the night because like I'd like to prove like it doesn't always have to be somebody who's brutally murdered and hung.
Sure.
It can be anything. It could just be a death. And you're gonna also find out that my stories aren't malevolent. They're not always dark. Ghost stories aren't like this isn't a scary thing. It doesn't have to be. It's just TV and your movies and all that stuff really make this out to be in your face kind of stuff. Even Ghostbusters had the big scary lady from the library, right?
Yeah.
Because they want that scare factor. To me, this isn't a scary thing. So it's not that I'm trying to bump the scariness with it. I want you guys to be a little spooked if something does happen and chill. You see this thing. So there's more stories coming. Awesome. Thanks. You're welcome. All right. Thermal imaging. Have you ever worked with anything like that before? All right. So in a nutshell, and I'm going to show you some evidence so you kind of have a little bit more of what you're looking for. Go ahead and point that right. Let's get a blank space. Try to get like one little area here. So you kind of see how it bleeds out. Watch what happens when my hand goes in.
Okay.
The whole wall turned blue. Because that orange, red, and yellow is kind of our baseline. Our skin's going to be warmer than anything else out here. So you want that array of color when it's on there. So if you have just a blue wall that you're shooting, you're not going to see any kind of small anomaly come through. You want a lot of color. That's the whole. That's what I found. Excuse me. That's what I found when I'm going through all of this data. Is I want as much color in there as possible, so I can see like, oh, it's the same temperature as that tree, or it's colder than the tree. So I'm always relating what it is next because I have the spectrum of temperatures at home based on how many degrees apart one color is to the next. So that's what I'm always looking for. Is I want somebody in view at all times. So
You always want a human in view.
try to keep a human in view at all times. Now we have 9 people tonight. It's going to be relatively easy, but in the event like we're kind of spread out and you're kind of like what's going on, it's okay. But try to keep multiple things in view. You shooting a wall does me no good.
Okay.
So let me show you a little bit of evidence. And I figured you 3 would be kind of teamed up, and that's why I gave you guys a spirit box as well, because you're recording audio. So in the event that theirs is loud enough for the audio to be picked up here and they're unsure of what they heard, it's okay. We can check the audio on here. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
So should we keep this thing low or high?
You can keep it like mid-range so you can still kind of
Mid-range?
talk over it.
Okay.
And how do you increase it? I don't hear any static. I'm supposed to
So
hear static,
yeah,
right?
there's a little, just like I showed you at the beginning, you have it upside down.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. So there's a button on the right-hand side. So if your red dot's at the top, you feel it.
Oh,
You just kind of have to hold it up to get some static out of it.
okay. That's where it should be most
Yep.
of the time?
Yep,
Okay.
right about there. And I'll say go ahead and turn it down, obviously when I'm telling a story or something like that, so I'm not like shouting over it. Let me find it. Sorry, Facebook doesn't like to stay on that particular, and that's where I have it stored. So you living here, do you do a lot of tours, or is this just something out of the
No,
blue?
this is because they're visiting.
Gotcha.
That I'm playing tourist tonight.
Gotcha. So this is our next location, just so you know. There's an orange wall right there, so obviously it's pretty warm. Do you see the 2 living people that just walked past? I mean, start it over, as I was talking. start. Okay. So there's going to be 2 living heads right above the wall. You see them? They're real small.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to fast forward and we're going to find some 2 heads that are not living people. As soon as the pause button goes away, we'll be able to see it better. You're going to see 2 black heads going this way. As soon as it comes back into view. Sorry, it's a long clip. So I try to fast forward it. Did I miss it already? They're going to be right about there.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
So I kind of went over this with firemen and mechanics, the people that actually use that for their job. And we've literally gone through it frame by frame by frame. It's literally 2 heads. And there's a guy in view right here with his skin in view. So it was really easy to tell like what color they should have been versus what they actually were. I'll get to that point again so you guys can see it. Again, I'm not trying to hide anything. It'll be right around that corner. Let me pans back again. And they called me up there to that area. Sorry, watching it upside down, I don't know if I'm in the right spot. Yeah, I'm way past it. They called me up there because they thought they saw some shadows, and I don't go off people's feelings. I want the evidence. Right?
Yep.
Yep.
So, I didn't even see that until the next morning when I was going through the data. Let me just see if there was anything that they missed or something that they caught out of the corner of their eye. If there was a vehicle, it was too far away. Like I went through all of those, motions with it, tested it just to see what it actually was. Boom, we have some actual evidence. So, in here you have wood, asphalt, foliage, cars, vehicles. I just want you to get a base of how the temperature fluctuates with all of those different types of material, including humans. So this is really about you kind of seeing what it'll do as you move around.
Okay.
And then, of course, helping with the spirit box. This one isn't the easiest one to listen to, so that's why it's nice when you have more than just 2 people on it. So when you get that thing turned up, start asking questions, see what happens. Have some fun with it.
Okay.
Hey, you're crossing the stream.
What's that?
You see those 2 people?
Yeah.
Yeah. See the 2 people?
Yeah.
So
I
turn.
cannot get this turned up.
Well, he was pushing something.
Yeah, I'm
over here.
pushing the little wheel.
Yeah, push it in and up as the way I'm pushing it down.
It's supposed to go this way. And then, here, hold this.
He said the red dot was up.
Yeah, the red dot is on the top. You got it sideways.
Yeah,
Are you sure?
that's
Yes.
what he just said. Yeah, because I had it
Just-
the
you
wrong
just
way.
said that.
And then on the
Yeah.
right-hand side is a wheel.
You don't feel everything.
Okay.
Yep. Each click is a volume. Each click.
Oh, okay. So you really click it up. Okay.
Okay. So when they're not around, and we're not listening to him, then we should have that turned up a little bit.
Yes.
And then I guess you guys have questions.
Okay, you want to take it off?
What kind of questions do you ask?
Open-ended. So, what's inside the building? What color is the building?
He forget? He said, I forget?
Did you say red?
What is in the building now?
Walk around here. But
Okay.
He just switched devices.
I know, I noticed that.
Here. Yeah, that. Yeah, here. You take it for a
You get, but it's like a
wheel.
click, click, click,
Well,
click.
I'll
It's
look
not
at-
like a wheel.
See, feel it on the right. Did you just say it sucks?
Yep. I'm having a hard time finding that little wheel. I feel something there.
Yeah,
Right there, right?
yeah. And then you click it.
Okay.
Okay.
What's inside the barn?
What is in this parking lot? Where is Somerville? You know, every so often you hear like the radio cut in or something. See? But I can't always understand what they say.
What color is the building next to us?
Is anyone buried in this parking lot?
I should try to keep that so there's always kind of somebody showing up in it somewhere.
So you can see where the black parts are.
You guys ready to learn some history now?
Yeah.
All right, let's go this way.
So basically these are some of the tools that these ghost hunters use.
Uh-huh.
Is they use something like this to pick up sounds, they use that for thermal imaging. I don't quite get the laser things exactly.
Because if something passes through it, you can't see it necessarily with your eye because it goes so fast, but she's taking constant photos. So he said we might not realize anything tonight, but when he's going to go through the footage tomorrow and then send it to us,
Okay.
he'll point out like something that was said on yours or a photograph that showed up. Because she's just click, 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 clicking.
You know, I keep hearing like a word or two, but I can't, or a little bit of music, but it's hard to tell what it says.
Uh-huh.
have several spirit boards. So I mean, it's part of everyday life. So it is what it is. And then I get to teach you guys how to do this for fun, for funsies, right? All right. So welcome to another beautiful site in Charleston. It's a parking lot. If by the end of this you guys don't know where to park based on my text and the locations we go to, we have an issue. So because we're going to see lots of parking lots. So this place used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. So the mansion sat in the front facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with that left tree and came all the way across, and we're standing where the slave and servant quarters used to be. So who the hell were Charles and Eliza Pinckney? Well, first off, we met on the corner of Pinckney and East Bay Street, in case you guys didn't catch that. But Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles, and they had a nephew named Charles. The son and the nephew were, look at his EMF, that thing's going crazy. It's good. Usually when I bring up Eliza's name is when it starts. Has it been doing that the whole time?
No.
No? It just started?
Yeah.
Okay, so watch yours for sure. Because that's the same device you have as your big numbers.
Yeah, 1.6.
Yep. Anything above 0.4, that's what I get excited about. So, where was I? So the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution. So that's a pretty big deal for Charleston, but I hate politics, and we just got out of an election year, and you guys are all on vacation, except for Tiffany over here. She lives here. So she doesn't want to talk about politics either, I'm sure. This is Charleston. Nobody likes to talk politics in Charleston. So, Eliza married Charles at a very young age. Now, keep in mind, I'm not going to give you questions like, what color is George Washington's white horse? Like the Red Barn stuff we did over there. Okay, so this is literally, you're going to get the answers. This is your intermediate level. Answers from your spirit boxes and or kind of imagery that we get on your thermal imaging camera. So we're going to be able to put all of this stuff together and hopefully come up with something. You don't have to keep that on the whole time.
Okay. You prefer it off, is what you're saying.
Guy with epilepsy, lasers. Let's put the clues together. So sorry, I'm just
This says brief. Be brief.
brief. Oh, so I do need to be brief. Did you hear that, Susan? I can't. This is a great story. So Eliza married Charles young age. Find out what age. Who's screaming and interrupting me? Anyway, so we can also find out how old Charles was if you really want to know that question. But she did that because her father over in England thought he was dying. So he wanted to see all of his kids one last time. And she didn't want to go. So she got married to stay put in the United States. Of course, it was colonial times then. So, but it didn't give her citizenship. It just basically said, hey, Dad, I'm not going anywhere. So she was right. Dad got better. He starts sending over wedding gifts. One of those gifts happened to be the plant indigo. So you guys have been here for at least a day, I hope. You didn't just get off the plane and see a couple of streets on the way here. But indigo is a pretty big thing for us here in Charleston. Nobody ever really talks about it in depth of where it actually started. It literally started where you're standing, right in her garden. So that indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes her blue jeans blue. Some of you have it on now. That's how we still use it. So it obviously became a huge cash crop for her because she had to learn from her slaves and servants. So they were from the Gullah culture, which means they already knew how to cultivate it in our weird temperatures. It gets way colder than this in January and February. So she had to keep it going. Once she got it going, she moved it over to Snee Farm in Mount Pleasant, and that's where it became a huge cash crop. Then she said, hey, Dad, I need some contacts to be able to sell this stuff overseas. So he sends her some contacts. Boom, we have a businesswoman in the mid-1750s. That's ridiculous in those times, to actually have a businesswoman in those times. So it's a pretty big deal. Let's see, what else? I want you to also kind of keep in mind with indigo, they use it to dye a lot of things. So if you think of the color royal blue, we usually think of the British and some things over in Europe. That's where it came from. Even our own Civil War, the Union wore blue coats and the Confederates wore gray coats. The gray coats are literally just less indigo. There's still indigo in those coats. Otherwise they'd be white. So just kind of keep that in mind. I'm just touching the surface on some of the things that Eliza's done just so that we can play with our toys and I can be brief. So I can kick it right back. So, but here's a couple of weird questions you can ask that I'm not going to give you the answers to. First off, you need to know that Eliza was the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. So Chuck really screwed this one up. So what did the Elizas do? They go by their maiden name. So they both start with the letter L. That's the only clue I'm going to give you. So it's Eliza blank Pinckney. So who's flashing the lights at? Where was I? So ask anything you want to about Eliza's death. She's pretty open about it. You can ask how old she was. We got a lot of numbers in here. So how old she was when she got married, how old was Chuck, how old was she when she died, what did she die from, where is she buried, and which U.S. president was a pallbearer at her funeral. She likes to brag about that. So I didn't get a chance to follow up with you on the last one, so I'm going to start with you when we break apart in here.
Okay.
So the president is a big deal. You can usually lead off with that, and that'll kind of get things going for you. You can ask what happened to the mansion. Obviously, it's not here anymore. As far as the children go, I already told you there was one named Charles. If you want to ask other names, by all means do so. Just don't poke the bear with her kids too much, because there was a tragedy there and she doesn't really like to talk about it. If she brings it up and I see the clues from multiple places, I'm like, okay, let's prod a little bit. Let's see what she wants to tell us. Now, again, I'm not the Google of all the Pinkney stuff. There are things I still have to learn. And as far as the president bit, I didn't know that. I learned that from the tours of stuff that actually came through. It wasn't something I looked up and said, that's a great question. It was like, why is that a thing? So I had to figure that out. I'm trying to think. I think that about covers things for enough to get you guys started. Again, lasers on the vehicles, be very discreet. As far as you with your camera, and where's the other camera? Sell you with your camera. So people get a little funny about their cars and cameras. So if somebody's coming to their vehicle, you're just kind of walking around, kind of not doing anything, right? So again, I don't like to run with 9 people. Somebody's gonna get left behind, I promise. But again, we're gonna spend a good 10 to 15 minutes here. This is a hot spot for me, guys. So let's have some fun in here. And the two of you really should be kind of paired up anyway, because you need to know where to stop and ask those type of questions. So did you hear anything when we were at the Red Barn lot?
Sorta.
Sorta what? What'd you hear?
I got that the barn was red. I was like, what color is the barn?
And it said red?
What did it say? It said apple. So I was like, oh.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
But I will also tell you that apple could be related to this location. So that's because it was a preemptive answer. I will explain later. So some of you are going, what questions did he have me ask? What questions? Like, it's a quiz show, right? And don't worry, I'm not going to leave you all hanging. We will regroup and I'll give you the answers if we didn't get them. So that way you guys have that little bit of history. But let's spread out. Let's have some fun. Gabby, let me see what else you're learning from this guy. So let's spread out.
Okay, let's go to where the garden is.
I feel like we might need another tutorial on this because we can't seem to figure out any words.
Only way in and out. We're not going to make any jokes tonight.
Her name was Elijah?
Fair enough.
Elijah.
Yeah, other than indigo.
Did you say she grew multiple things?
No. Eliza, did you grow multiple things in your garden?
That's a different question. Why don't we start off with some of the questions he told us to
Okay.
ask?
I swear I heard. Yes, I did.
Did you guys get that volume button?
Yeah,
I think so.
we're just having a hard time finding a
It's a little
word at
tricky.
all.
I can turn it up for you. That's what I'm here for. Again, it's not the...
So I feel a little wheel there.
Yeah, and you don't scroll it, you hold it.
Oh, you hold it.
You hold it. And it's a light touch. Like, it's not a press it in and hold it.
Okay.
It's a real light touch.
So punching it like I did probably
No,
didn't do anything.
throwing it on the ground, kicking it, doesn't do anything.
Okay.
So,
all right.
but yeah, we can make a little bit of noise here. We're not just throwing any ponies. So,
Okay.
Is there,
Let's go to where the garden is. Eliza, what president came to your funeral? Edwin.
That's it.
Who was the pallbearer at your funeral?
Eliza, what color is indigo? What are some other questions?
What's your maiden name?
Eliza, what's your maiden name? Nate?
I don't know. It was something that started with an L, but I don't know if it was.
Results, man.
We got negative results. We're not doing very good.
So we got negative results. Well, appreciate your honesty, Elijah.
Eliza, how old were you when you died?
Okay, Elijah, listen up. How old were you when you got married?
Still have options.
You still have options.
What?
You still have options. What are those options?
What was the one she said a few minutes ago? What was so funny? Now I forgot.
Negative results.
Oh, negative
Yeah.
results, yeah.
Any weirdness coming out of there?
Well,
No, we're not doing good, but all we heard was negative results, so we take that as something.
she
So,
said,
here's
you
what's
get
funny.
negative results.
This is why I ask these questions and I bounce around with you guys, because Michelle has the word photo on there. When I think of photos, because my wife's a photographer, I think of negatives.
Uh-huh.
So something I'm looking at is telling me the pictures that Vessela's taken over there, I need to go through those and maybe turn one of them into a negative of things that actually happened here to see what's actually going to happen.
Oh.
Interesting.
You see how I'm thinking about
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
So your laughter is good stuff. It's a clue. I just don't know what it is. It might be nothing. But again, that's how I have to think all the time. So again, I don't get excited from one device. So it is what it is. We'll see what I
Yeah,
come up with
uh-huh.
in real time and when I go through the stuff in the morning. And then you guys might come up with something on your own and you're going to be able to text me or email me back because you're all going to have my phone number.
How long should we wait in between asking questions?
15, 20 seconds. And I usually try to ask the same question. Give them time to muster up the energy. So, what color is the red barn? Wait 20 seconds. You don't hear anything. Can you tell me what color the barn is? I'll even reword it so I'm not getting bored.
Okay.
So, it's kind of you can even ask what color is my jacket, you know. But also think colonial times. These people don't know what this stuff is. You can use this black box with a red light on it to talk to us. Just come closer. You know what I mean? Entice her to come and want to chat with you. Also, keep in mind, you guys asking questions, the answer can go anywhere. We have 5 devices that can take answers. Her audio, my audio, your box, the other 2 spirit boxes. So we have 5 devices. A lot of times when I have a smaller group and I'm using a spirit box, I'll say, hey Eliza, how many people did I bring with me? And the other person will turn around and say, I heard the number 8. There's 8 of you here, and it was 50 yards away. I do it all the time to prove a point. It doesn't have to go to your box. It can go anywhere. Wherever Eliza or Charles or one of the kids is hanging out and they want to answer for that question, they're going to put it somewhere.
Okay.
So, again, it's a matter of perspective. I love these large groups because everything is out. So, I get to bounce.
It's interesting with the negative results.
Eliza, how many kids did you have?
Maybe we're not doing this right. Elijah.
Eliza, how many kids did you have? Eliza, how many kids did you have?
Men and women.
Did men and women.
How many girls and how many boys? Eliza, how many girls and how many boys did you have?
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Maybe only ask one of those.
Eliza, did you have any girls? Eliza, how old were you when you got married?
Eliza, how old were you when you got married? Eliza, how old were you when you got married?
Did you understand anything you did? Did you understand anything?
Let's move around a little bit.
Tell us again, Eliza, how old were you when you got married?
Elijah, how long did you live in this house? Okay, Elijah. Eliza, what was your favorite color?
Maybe that's why she's not talking. You're saying her name wrong.
What was your favorite color? Over.
Eliza, what president was your pallbearer in your funeral?
What's your name?
Eliza?
Eliza, how many bedrooms were in your mansion? How many bedrooms were in your mansion? How many bedrooms were in your mansion?
Eliza, how old were you when you died? Eliza, how did you die?
Elijah, come on. How did you die? Eliza, how did you die?
Went to the club.
What club did you go to?
Try to eat well.
Eliza, how did you die? I got a question for you guys. You usually do, right?
I don't know, but it just recorded your question. So he's going to use me often. Eliza, do most people tip after this?
Hey, she was in the 1700s.
He said we could ask her what kind of shirt we were wearing.
Just ask me any.
Eliza, what color is my hair?
Today.
Eliza, what color is your hair? Or was your hair?
Not a whole lot.
Check the photos. I didn't see anything in there, but again, it's not on my computer screen for me to really get the detail out of it. So, and I like to lighten them up when I can't see things. So, you know, you'll see my work where certain pictures are lightened up more than others, so that way we can actually see what's actually in there. So far, we've actually had, and we'll talk about it as a group, but she did get 225 and 935. So 225 is almost the exact date or how old she was when she got married, 22 and a half.
Oh.
So when she said, was she 22 and a half when she got married? I'm like, I think you're about pinpointed on. I'm going to check the amount of months that were in between her birthday versus her marriage date, because I think that might actually be on. And then 93.5, Eliza Pinckney died in 1793. So we have 9 and 3. Your spirit boxes are slow. It's going to pick up those words before and after. So, for example, during Christmas time, what color is the red barn? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. All I need is red. That's all I need. I don't need Rudolph the reindeer. I don't need all that mess. I just need the color red. So I have it slowed down on purpose so I can capture the whole message, so that way nothing's being misconstrued. So again, it might be one word out of a long phrase I need, 935 and 225. I got the numbers I need. 22 is when she got married, 93 is when she died. So let's see what else comes up. So we're going to spend a few more minutes here before we kind of go through the rest of what you guys caught. But I definitely, you guys have this at a good volume. Can you guys all hear it? Okay, good. And I'm surprised you're not giving me more jokes and more slack. I was expecting more out of you. You started off strong.
I'm mesmerized here.
So, is this what you guys thought you were getting yourselves into with all the devices?
Using some kind of devices, yeah.
So, I will tell you, and you've never taken a tour down here, you said. So,
I took one. It was the one about all the drugs and prostitution, the dark side of Charleston.
Oh, yeah. I don't think that one's around anymore. But that was probably about 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Oh, no, it was like 10 years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think that one's around anymore. And I've only been doing this for 2 years. But at the same time, nobody goes to the extent in the United States that I go through with you guys with your devices, giving you all the data. Some people are trying. Like there's a place in Savannah that's trying to mimic what I'm doing, but they don't go to the extent that I do. So not with the amount of devices and all the different stuff. They hand out one of those, and an EMF reader, and they say, let's go with 20 people. And they don't give anything back. They don't show them all the extra stuff the next day. To me, that's half the fun.
Yeah.
You know, I like going through that stuff in the morning. My first cup of coffee, I'm listening to Spirit Boxes and giving you guys links of why Eliza Pinkney was 22 when she got married. So I'm putting it all together. You guys are going to see a nice, big, long thing to go through with all the links in between to show you why it's relevant. I don't like to just say it's because I said so. I want to show you where I got it. So,
are you married?
Yes.
So do you get this, dear, you never talk to me at breakfast?
No, I get the, hey honey, I need my logo to be on this picture. Can you make that happen? Because that's what she does for the business. So she's in graphic design and photography. I got all my degrees in writing. So that's where we kind of work well together. She does all my book covers, my headshots, anything. She designed my logo from scratch. So if I tell her what color I need, you know, I need the Stories in a Cemetery green, she'll give me the code so I can put it on my website somewhere, wherever I need it. So we work really, really well together. Yeah, she has a day job, but she just finished up her graphic design degree, where I'm about to finish up my master's degree, and now she's like, I gotta play catch up so I can catch up to my husband, because I have 2 bachelors and a master's after July. So,
Wow.
yeah, a lot of cool.
So guess what her sister had her major in?
What was that?
Photography and printmaking.
Oh,
She went to SCAD.
so you have a lot of ink. Did you get any of that here?
Yeah, quite a bit of it.
Okay. Because I need some work done. My wife just has somebody done, but it's in a different style than what I need. So hers is very cutesy and whatnot, and I don't need that.
I go all traditional, Holy City tattoo
Okay.
on Sam Rittenberg.
Gotcha.
Guess she's got a lie you don't see.
I do too, but there's more stuff that I need to add or cover up from an ex-wife. We won't get into that right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a name, don't get me wrong.
Eliza, tell us about his ex-wife.
Her name comes up. I'm going to be
So I'm getting the impression that the best part of this comes tomorrow,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now let's turn this thing.
You guys got how that speaker goes down now? You gotta hold it. Almost got it. There you go. Perfect. All right. So we did get, you guys asked me a question. What was the question? Do you remember? How old was Eliza when she got married, right? And you thought, you joked around and said, was she 22 and a half? They had the numbers 225 come up. That's almost the exact date of when she was married, 22 and a half. I'm going to get the exact dates so that way we can kind of count the months and make sure. I've never had it come up that specific. We also had, what was it, 935? Right? So Eliza was, no, not 93 when she died. She died in 1793. She was 70 when she died in Philadelphia from breast cancer. You're probably thinking, Nick, that was in 1793. There's no such thing as breast cancer. We're going off of her records. And she was up there for breast cancer treatments. So, and it's also where she's buried. So if that doesn't answer the question of why we don't go to cemeteries, it's because if you're dead, are you going to hang out where you're buried? Probably not. So again, you're going to go to places you love, like your giant mansion in Charleston. So that's why we're here. Did we get anything else out of your spirit box?
Was it the 6th or the 8th president that was her pallbearer? No. Okay. No.
1793. So that's when she passed away.
Yep.
Okay.
Do you know what president it was?
It's either Washington or Adams.
Washington. So when you guys said you had the word apple come up, who had the word apple come up?
That would be like over there.
Yeah. So again, relatively close.
Okay.
He was in basically an apple farm. So we do get apple, we get pie, and we get Martha a lot here. We also get the words wood and first. Why wood? Washington had wooden dentures. So that comes up a lot here. Because Washington is a lot to get out. So remember I told you guys about your spirit boxes, how it picks up words before and after? So a couple weeks ago I had the word, the phrase, name, Denzel Washington come through on a spirit box when somebody asked, and they joked around like you guys, was she 22 and a half? They said, was it Denzel Washington? Was he the president? I'm like, no, but it was Washington. So again, why would Denzel Washington being talked about on the radio? The dude hasn't had a movie out in years. So again, we were meant to hear Washington during that time period. So what are the questions? She was 70, 90, and then 93.
What
Maiden
was-
names.
Yeah.
So the Eliza, the plant of the indigo, was Eliza Lucas Pinckney, the insignificant first wife, and I say that because I have one. Eliza Lamb Pinckney. So Lamb and Lucas were the names that we were looking for there.
She had lion.
Lion?
I did.
Lion and the lamb?
Lion and the lamb.
Interesting. A bit of a stretch, just but I kind of like it. What other words did you guys have come up?
A lot, right? Phantom, everything, today, good, harvest, perish, Emily, six, speed, share, promise, throw, nail, mechanic, cow, glove, labor, resist, diagnose, yes, lion, fashion, Eliana, batteries.
Okay, so I think that was all from this corner.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of vague terms. I don't see anything relevant. But again, once I look at it as a whole, I might see something different.
Diagnosis.
Diagnosis, yeah, that was a good one.
Breast cancer.
Yeah.
How come Kevin Bacon's name comes up?
Who the hell cares about Kevin Bacon? Let's see. There was a fire here, right up in that corner. That was the Great Fire of 1861. So it wasn't just this mansion that burned down. It just happened to be in the way. Whenever you guys go on another tour from Charleston, because I'm sure I'm not the only one you're going to see, they talk about great fires a lot, and it's usually just of the year that it happened because there's so much and they destroy so much. This one went from peninsula coast to peninsula coast. Again, building was first in line. It just took it out. There's no pictures of the mansion unless it was after the fire. So, again, very interesting place that we're standing in right now. Anybody hear the color blue by chance? No blue? Okay, that comes up a lot here. The kids, as far as the names go, so we have a Charles that I told you about, we have a Thomas, a George, which was an infant son that only lasted days or weeks, we're not sure which, because the headstone just has a month and a year on the birth and date, birth and death, and then we have one daughter, Harriet. So
We did get girls and boys when we said, how many children do you have? We got
Girls
boys
and
and
boys,
and
okay.
girls.
that's kind of cool. So hopefully we caught that on your audio, so we can kind of verify that. And Harriet actually married in Horry. Myrtle Beach is in Horry County, so that kind of gives you a gist of where Harriet lived after she left home. There was a lot of writing letters back and forth. All of those letters were published. So again, anything dealing with writing, so pen, quill, paper, ink, any of those kind of things kind of match up with what goes on here. So those are the clues that I'm listening for tomorrow morning when I'm going through your data. And now you guys will have all of that on the audio, so you know what you're listening for in case I miss it.
I did get writing.
You had writing, I think, pretty early.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
See, that's why you guys got me here. That's why you guys keep me around. So, we are going to go up about 4 blocks to the next haunted location. Again, I'm taking you to legitimate places. So it is Lodge Alley. I know, sorry about the bright lights. And that's, again, we're not making ghosts, Gabby. Get out the way. So, I am going to be masked up because there's probably going to be people eating outside. You guys do whatever you want. I'm a tour guide. They look at me as somebody professional. You guys are on vacation. Have fun. As far as spirit boxes, if you're going to listen along the way, because we are a larger group, it's not going to be me and 3 people chatting. Listen for names. I'm not going to tell you which names are why until we actually get there. But once we reach Lodge Alley, you're going to take some pictures going down the alley before we walk down it. And then spirit boxes will be down. It is considered a quiet area because it is a hotel right next door. As far as EMFs go, so Dave and Colleen, I'll get it, I promise. You can pretty much ignore it on the way there. So our electrical lines for our parking meters and the crosswalks are under the sidewalks, and they are strong enough to make your devices go off. I don't want you getting a false positive. So let's not get too excited, and we're already a noisy group. We don't need any screaming and woohoo, we gotta go! Watch your step. It's 1 up, 3 down, and then there's another little threshold that the trip has. Yep.
Yeah. Or like that one that you showed us, I feel like they had to see probably after the fact because it was so.
Yeah, you can pretty much turn off that monitor. Alright.
Well, I have some milk too, but you probably want to. Yeah.
Is this what you guys thought you were getting yourselves into? Are you my skeptic?
I don't know.
Because when I upload this to YouTube, it looks at it as a copyright issue, and then they make me cut it out. So unless I cover it up or I'm talking, it recognizes the music.
There's lots of people sitting outside now.
Oh my goodness, look at that.
It's a really good dessert place.
Is it?
Yeah.
What is it? What's it called?
Carmelos or Carmelas? I don't remember. Carmine. Yeah, it's all dessert.
Oh,
And alcohol. Like dessert like dessert martinis, desserts, everything sweet.
Is that the one with the crazy stuff lady?
I went there once, but it was really good.
No, we didn't see that one.
He only I only showed him. That's like
That was from. And they weren't all
Kaminsky's. Yeah, there's actually a second location now in West Ashley. Right. Well, it's all on the market, yeah. But Kaminsky's now has a place in West Ashley.
Right on the table. Like, you're playing exercise. I want to see it. Like, yeah.
I just always told them that like real work. Yeah, so they don't like
Advertise.
well like charge people crazy on
So, one psychic friend that I have that I'm working with on that book and wrote it, he's phenomenal. Is he expensive? Not really. Not compared to some card readers I do.
They're not expensive. I mean, it's reasonable. Like my dad charges me to
Sure.
so, but it's not like crazy amount of money. Right. He just does it for the client, like donation.
Right. And he'll do like Facebook Live stuff. Like if you say throw cash of like $3, he'll draw 3 cards. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But he's very flamboyant in his sexuality and his appearance. He's fun to watch regardless if you believe in it or not, because he will show up in a Care Bear outfit and say, "Oh, great kids, let's do this. Today I'm doing love cards." You know what I mean? Like that's kind of his thing.
More when I was
By the way, that used to be part of my Philadelphia.
Another what?
Yeah, the one.
There's a lot of historical
The
wars.
reason why I don't go down there anymore is because it is a neighborhood where I'm not supposed to be. Not to mention, I pissed off the new neighbor in November and had to reroute my tours. This guy called off 3. That's what I'm at. I got spear foxes flying, people have lasers. I'm like, that's the house. Oh, no. And this guy come out with his dog yelling at me because, you know, I'm in a neighborhood. I'm like, all right. Senatorians and the livability office called me. I get it. I'll reroute. I had to rearrange to come up with this, which is fine. There's something there in the city. I just went like to take you guys
No, we're done.
Alright, did we lose anybody? Yep. Alright. So, here's my blunt honesty. I skipped Lodge Alley. I didn't realize we were all spending so much time at Pinckney Mansion site, and that's kind of my fault. And I don't care about going over. I just want to make sure you guys have the good parts of your investigation actually happening. So that one's kind of a breeze through. So this is a very popular area, so I'm sure you've been through here dozens of times. So I'm going to give you a quick skinny on what the legends and lore are around us, and then we're going to get into our final investigation, which is the building behind you. So that's the reason why I stopped here. So first and foremost, that little building, that little brick building, that's Bocce's restaurant, or at least it used to be. I don't know, that closed 2008 or 9, something like that. But it is haunted. Doors don't stay shut in there. Mirrors like to fall off the walls and not break. So that kind of stuff happens there all the time, kind of like a portal, something passing through and keeping the mirror together as it pulls it off the wall. I do have some experience with some mirrors. If you guys want to ask me off the air. As far as the corner goes, this is St. Philip's Church. So if you don't know where you are when you're walking around during the daytime, just look for that steeple. It's the tallest one we have. And it is off slightly. Remember I told you about the earthquake in 1886? It is slightly off. So we can't see it with the naked eye, but if you actually measure it, it's a little bit off. There's a lot of stories around here. So we're going to start off with the alley that we did pass. Did everybody notice the brick alley where there was crowds of people in there that weren't allowed to be in there because I pissed off the new neighbor? So that was very interesting to see that there was a lot of people in there, a lot of tours. So that's Philadelphia Alley. That used to be called Dueller's Alley. That's where duels used to occur for Charleston. We all tell the story of one duel, and I tell it lately because we've been getting a lot of activity out of it. I'm going to give it to you briefly so we can get into the powder magazine. And that's, by the way, the most beautiful spot we have in all of Charleston. So photos, daytime, nighttime, it's gorgeous. Let me catch my breath because I talk too much. You guys got to shut me up every once in a while. So there was a doctor that moved here from Rhode Island. His name was Joseph Brown Ladd. I say his name very specifically because it could come up on our spirit boxes, especially yours. I've seen it multiple times. He's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her parents that are dead. So the attorney that was handling that money told Amanda, you're not getting married, send the doctor away, let's see if he's really got what it takes. He moves to Charleston from Rhode Island. The coachman that brought him into town, which would have been much further uptown, set him up to be robbed and killed. This guy was a doctor's student, so he's probably dressed pretty well. So he was a target. Somebody walking by sees what's happening. His name was Ralph Isaacs. So keep in mind, he has the same initials of where the doctor came from, R.I. Comes up all the time. So Ralph says, you don't want to stay here, let me take you somewhere else. He takes him to 59 Church Street, that way. We're on Church Street now, obviously because of the big church. So anyway, the two become friends and the doctor's practice starts to take off. He's making lots of money, Amanda's going to be moving down soon, and he becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. So you can Google the Whistling Doctor Charleston, and this is the story you'll get, just very long. But anyway, him and Ralph used to go see plays together, but because the doctor made so much more money, they had to sit in different seats. The doctor had better seats. So they talked about these plays on the way home. One night they go see William III. They're talking about it on the way home. The doctor loves the new actress that was here. Ralph does not. They start arguing. So it obviously turns into a big insult party on the doctor's fiancée, because the two are just mad at each other now. So they're obviously pissed off. They go their separate ways, but Ralph is from here, which means he has a couple of ties with the newspaper. calls up his buddies, says, I want to put an ad in the paper about what a disgrace the doctor is to the city. Tells him, basically he takes all of our money, he's not one of us, he's not from here. The doctor sees it and rebuttals with, let's go to Dueler's Alley and settle this. So they come down, they take their 20 paces, they turn, the doctor points his gun in the air and he shoots. He didn't want to kill his friend. This was 1800s, by the way, so there's only one shot. Ralph still had his one shot. He takes it out on the kneecap of the doctor. Sorry, you're just the guy I'm looking at. I'm not trying to kill you. So he takes his shot on the kneecap of the doctor. Again, very specific. Knee and kneecap, leg, all that stuff shows up in spirit boxes and thermal imaging. So with that said, his friends carried him back home to 59 Church Street. He dies 10 days later. They say as you walk through the alley, you can hear the whistles from the doctor. Keep in mind, if you're going to do this on your own, there's a lot of hecklers in town. They're going to walk by and give you their whistle. So again, this was a spot when I had that as part of my tour where I took you guys through it. Everybody's spirit boxes are off. We're being quiet as we go by because we want the audio of the whistles. It's always faint. I have 2 or 3, I think, total that I can't debunk of somebody being nearby just whistling. And the word whistle will show up on the spirit boxes from time to time. So it's really cool stuff. There's a lot of very specific details on that story. So we'll see if anything pops up out of your data tomorrow, because obviously we're not watching and listening. You guys all have eyes on me and being SpongeBob, just taking it all in. We got chuckles, so everybody's paying attention too. All right, so you guys got to stay with me on this one. There's a lot of twists and turns. This is the Powder Magazine. This is the oldest government building on the East Coast. So the crosses that you see are not actual crosses, they're earthquake bolts. So the gist is if a building gets quaked again, you can tighten up those earthquake bolts and the building will straight up again. Doesn't work. Just so you know. Let's talk about something else that doesn't work. This is actually just inside the original Charlestown walls. So the original Charlestown wall came right up Cumberland Street. So with that being said, it went up about half a block past the Powder Magazine. So the Powder Magazine was literally right inside the corner of where the wall was. So in case it got attacked from the water by a ship, those walls are 32 inches thick. Cannonball's probably not going to make it all the way through. But in the event that it does and blows up the gunpowder inside, there's sand in the roof that it will blow up in the air, and the gunpowder's all ablaze down below. The sand should fall and put out the flames. That doesn't work either. But it's never been attacked. The cool thing is it's actually served in 7 different wars and has never been attacked. So it has been multiple types of buildings. Currently it's a museum. If you're into old war stuff and like to see the old artillery, by all means, go see what wars it actually served. And it didn't start from start to finish. So for our younger folks, they moved gunpowder quite a bit up and down the coast. But again, really cool building. It's very cheap to go check it out. But let's talk about why this is relevant to the story I'm about to tell you. This is our oldest building, I said. It was finished in 1713, but they started it in 1703. So it took a full decade to finish this building. Obviously, there was a lot going on during those times. In 1708, a young lady moves here from Ireland with her dad and his mistress, who happened to be her mother. You guys got to follow me on this. There's a lot going on. So they were getting away from her father's wife. You guys with me? Scorned wife. Moved all the way around the world in 1708 to get away from her. How pissed off was she? So, I know. So with that said, she's pretty young at this point. I want to say she would have been like around 11 or 12. She sees this building being finished. Obviously, she becomes a teenager. We have pirates coming through town. This is Charleston. We're a port harbor. Okay, so she falls in love with one of these pirates. His name is James Bonnet. Dad doesn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. He's not going to approve of that. So what does she do? She runs away to Jamaica. She gets married. Anne Cormack now becomes Anne Bonnet. But, Anne Bonnet, by the way, is probably the most famous female pirate that you're going to be able to Google ever. There's a ton of stuff written about her, but a lot of holes in the story, which is why this is more of an expert level of your devices. So, when she gets there, she realizes that James isn't the husband she wanted. She wanted a kick-ass, Johnny Depp, Captain Jack Sparrow kind of guy, and this was not him. He was a privateer, which basically meant he was a spy for the British. This is a coward. She didn't want this guy. So what she do? She falls in love with another guy. His name's John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. Much cooler name, much younger guy, has his own ship, and she wants to be part of that crew. So what does she do? She says, hey, Calico Jack, can I be part of your crew? We're kind of going steady now. He says, sure, but you're going to dress like a guy when you're on my ship, because females curse pirate ships. She's already used to that because Dad used to do the same thing to her to hide her away from his wife. He was an apprentice over in Ireland. She found out about the baby, that's why they moved here. So at any rate, she says, okay. But he says, you could be a female in my quarters, just fine. I'm okay with that. I would be too. I won't lie. But so she becomes part of the crew. Obviously, being in this quarters as a female, she gets pregnant. Can't have a pregnant pirate crew dude on the ship, so he drops her off with friends in Cuba. Go have the baby. We'll figure it out when you get back. She has the baby. We don't know what happened, but she came back without a baby. We have no idea what happened. Again, lots of holes. But she's dressed like a female. She doesn't give a damn anymore about hiding her gender. So she comes back as a girl, and this obviously makes Jack pretty mad. So what does she do? She goes down below deck, and she's flirting with the guys that he just captured. So one of those guys reveals their gender. It's a female, pretending to be a guy, to be part of a pirate crew, so Calico Jack can capture them. You guys with me on that one? That's a lot of back and forth. So this woman happened to be Mary Reed. Mary Reed, another very famous female pirate. She convinces Mary to become part of the crew. Trucks. So, her and Mary, they're part of the crew now. British fleet rolls in. Everybody's too drunk to come up below deck. It's Anne Bonny and Mary Reed fighting off the entire British fleet by themselves. Obviously, their ship gets captured. The pirates down below deck, including the captives, they all get captured and they're tried and hung pretty quickly, including Calico Jack. Anne Bonny and Mary Reed were able to dress up like guys again before they got captured, and the judge wants to see them separately because they're the only two brave ones that fought back. So a week after all the other pirates died, they're in front of the judge. His name was Nicholas Logs. Again, my name shows up a lot in Charleston. But with that said, they reveal their gender. He doesn't care. He's still going to try and hang them. Then they say, we plead our bellies. Basically meant they both pregnant at the same time. You can only imagine how true that actually was. He doesn't care. He's still going to try them, but delay their hanging. How does this all tie into Charleston? Because Dad's still here. Dad bails Anne Bonny out, brings her back home, and what we know from there, she remarried again, guy number 4, because yes, we're counting Mary Reed as a guy, the guy she flirted with, remarries, has 4 kids, and dies at the age of 84. Don't know how we got all those facts, and we don't know anything else about her. Some stories say that she moved back to, came here, then moved to Virginia. Others say that she went further south. We have no idea. But what happened to Mary Reed? She died in a Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. You can use your imagination. I'm sure it wasn't a pretty sight. We'll say that. That's the tie to this powder magazine. This is a place where you spirit box folks, you can ask anything you want to. I get a lot of glitches out of your camera. It's been happening a lot lately. Haven't had one in the past few nights, but I will say 2-3 weeks ago, it was almost every night. I had some weird glitch happening here. So kind of keep a close eye on that. We definitely want to get the spirit boxes up. This is a popular area. Sorry, I get a lot out of that thing here too. But the EMF readers, this is a dead zone. If you get anything out of it, I'll be like super surprised because that means he's pretending he has a ghost near his antenna.
Oh, wow.
But if your EMF goes anything above 0.4, you get any lights at all, that means something else is going to give me another clue. So ask anything you guys want to about the story I told you. I only told you things that were common out of about 5 to 6 stories and books that I read on this particular woman. I wrote down literally things that were common. This happened in 3 books. It must be somewhat true. This
What's
happened
her name again?
Anne Bonny. So, and again, you're going to have a lot of links tomorrow about this, especially if things come out of your spirit boxes. What I meant about other tours, in the event another tour comes by and they stop here, spirit boxes either walk away so you can continue listening or just turn it down to a respectful level. So kind of keep that in mind, and I'll be around with lasers. What's cool about the lasers, where are those?
Right here.
So you guys can actually go to the front of the building as long as there's not another tour there in your way, and you can see the front and you can spray your dots and lasers in there and get us some pictures that way. That would be kind of cool. So
Which building?
There's an exit to the parking lot right there. So you go into the front of the building, just don't go above that roof because there's apartments behind it. So if you go above it, it's going into somebody's apartment.
Okay.
So kind of be mindful. Start them off on the ground and go real slow up so that way you don't go above.
Okay.
But yeah, let's see what we can
So
capture
just
here.
move around a lot or kind of stay steady?
It just depends on where kind of the hotspots are. I usually try to get as close to the powder magazine as I can, like with you guys. Like my glitches here usually occur from that corner, because sometimes I'll take that corner if it's a weekday, just because, I mean, you see all the other tours going by. I don't, they like to interrupt. I don't know why. But I've gotten a lot of glitches out of that corner, and then I had some come out like nearby with that tree in the center. So again, you're kind of a free-for-all at this point. Go wherever you feel like you want to go. As far as the spirit box goes, you're in the vicinity. Again, it doesn't have to be in the building or on it. You're in the vicinity of the oldest building on the East Coast that has a tie to a pirate. Start asking questions. Let's see what we get. So, have some fun. That's what this is. That's right. Don't piss her off.
Would you want to start either over in this
over here.
corner or by the tree?
Here. Start over here.
Okay.
It is hard to get a human in here while I'm in a corner, especially if I want to be like in the corner. Didn't want to do it that way, but it's a lot easier when you can see the one.
Yes, it is.
All right.
You bite.
I'm gonna ask questions.
So what happened to your kid in Cuba?
Mary, what happened to your baby in Cuba? Mary, did you have a baby in Cuba?
Let's move on. World leader in something.
Better music.
The kid got better music in Cuba.
You guys didn't let me reach my step count today.
I reached mine.
So when I do 2 tours a night in the wintertime, oh my God.
I'm sure.
Because I start in September with 2 tours a night because the sun drops early.
That's true.
So yeah, I'll reach a good 15 to 18,000 steps.
Wow.
I'm only looking for like the darker specks, right?
Well, in here, when I say glitches, usually something will happen with like some kind of white film. Like it'll be a quick little white flash of something or something along those lines. For example, it was probably about a month ago now. From that corner I just sent you guys to, it was me and another person holding a spirit box in the same picture. It was the red spirit box. And white glitch there, spirit box literally went dead. We came out of that area, it came back on again, and it was already recording again. It takes 3 buttons to turn that thing back to record.
Gotcha.
So again, it was kind of like, what the F? Like, seriously. But again, it's stuff like that that I'm also looking for, just weird anomalies with the equipment. So it is what it is. I didn't hear any battery drainage, and we got the word battery on one of the spirit boxes earlier. I think it was the word list. So I'm always watching batteries to make sure somebody doesn't say, my stuff died, or whatever. But it was also around the word photo. So it might be the camera. So I might have to check the camera. Yeah, let's keep away from them. Always stay out of the other groups' way. I just think they're such large groups. My groups are noisier than them. So, crude those earthquake bolts are. Those are the first earthquake bolts that we put in the city.
Oh, really?
Yeah, very first ones. And they're not the same size. They're coming off the building on the edges. They're not even cut the same length. Like they're kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
But there's literally a bolt in the center of them. So if you tighten it,
We heard about some of the houses down
Yeah,
there.
and even this apartment building has them in the floors. Do you see like the peach squares?
Yeah.
That's what those are. Those are earthquake bolts.
Oh, really?
Oh.
If they don't get that many here.
It was just a big scare. California, chock full of them. I had groups from California on my group last night, and I said, do those actually work? And they were like, no, they don't. There's new technology now where the house or building will actually roll, and you won't feel it.
My God.
It's crazy. He had a word for it, and I can't remember what the word was. But it was really cool, like the way he explained it. You know, he must work in construction or something,
Yeah.
so he knew a lot about it. He's like, yeah, those earthquake bolts, they don't do anything. They're just for show. They're just to show the history of them.
Yeah, a couple of
Basically.
100 years ago, they didn't know that.
Yeah. No, would have been 300 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, that building behind is probably about 150 to 180 years old, and it's been modified. Obviously, you can see the roof line of what it used to be in the bricks. So they just added on to it. It's apartments right now. So
Where did everybody else go?
they're hanging out in front of the building, kind of capturing some pictures and shooting their laser grids and stuff in there. Like, just don't interrupt the other tours. They're always trying to poke around to see what I'm doing anyway. I'm listening to the spirit box at the same time that I'm talking. I know it sounds odd, but when you do this for a living, you can hear the white noise and see what's coming out of it.
I mean, should we still be asking it questions?
You can. I mean, we're still close to the building. Let me check on the front of this first.
Okay.
We'll get the teacher out of the way so they're not all nervous.
Do you want to go like over to that corner or something so we're a little bit further away from them? Well, now we're going to
Isn't it Mary?
the exact same spot.
Mary, what happened to the baby in Cuba? That's where he said heartbeat.
I thought it said heartbeat too.
Yeah.
See, did it not have a heartbeat? It did.
If it died, most likely not anymore.
That's true. What happened? So maybe she didn't give the baby away. Maybe it died.
Maybe.
He said they didn't know what happened to the baby. Maybe it died. It didn't have a heartbeat. Because I definitely heard heartbeat as well.
Yeah, that's funny. We both did. Heartbeat. What questions do you want to ask?
Oh, he gave us so much information. I don't remember what questions.
I know. So many names.
Were you actually pregnant when you went to court? I guess not.
You ain't.
Mary, were you actually pregnant when you went to court? I'm sure he said indeed.
You said indeed?
Yeah.
So I guess this is stay away from yes or no questions. How many people were pregnant in the courtroom?
Do you want to hold this at all?
We're gonna wrap this up because they're really not getting much in the front. Did you guys get anything back here?
The only thing we got, we asked what happened to the baby in Cuba, and we got the word heartbeat that we both heard clear as day. But, I mean, if the baby died, there was no heartbeat. I don't know if the baby died or someone else took the baby, but we both heard heartbeat. I don't
She may
know.
have left the baby with that family. We don't know.
That's all we got, was that we both heard it clean, like clear as day as soon as we asked it.
We also said something about, were you pregnant in court? And the word indeed came on.
Take it. Again. All right. Let's head up this way because they're waiting for us over there.
It'll be interesting tomorrow to hear our stuff, their stuff, and his knowledge of us going, maybe, maybe not.
Folks in the morning with all of the data and all of the things that I find. The one thing I'm most excited about here was the word vote came up, and that just shows that the pirates did have a democracy aboard the ship, including voting who was their captain. So if you're interested in pirates, there was a great documentary, thank you. I was about to say democracy. There's a great documentary on Netflix that just came up called The Last Kingdom of Pirates. It was amazing. It didn't even The Last Kingdom of Pirates.
Last Kingdom
Great.
of Pirates.
And it didn't feel like you were watching a democracy.
We've all seen that recently. Oh,
I know, right?
Yeah.
Zing. Just the political climate of America right now.
There's a weird angle too. I don't know. I'll have to definitely look at that one when I blow it up. Let's take your crazy device first.
Right. Got to.
Hopefully everybody I'm making this thing go absolutely bonkers.
Sorry about that. If I touched something I wasn't supposed to touch.
You're good. Everything is there's nothing I can't fix if somebody does break something.
That's good.
Red spirit box. Who has a red spirit box? Got me. Red spirit box. Let's get that. Camera. Yellow camera. Thank you very much. How many pictures do I have to go through? A couple thousand?
I don't know. I tried my best to keep you busy tomorrow.
So it'll be 3 o'clock when you guys get your stuff and not noon, because I have all those pictures. Just so you know, the pictures are the only thing that get outsourced. Those, you guys will have your own folder on Facebook, because that's just too much space on my website to be taken up. Let's start with the phones. So let's get that guy taken care of. Just one video?
Yeah.
All right.